What else we got?
Well, remember when Todd Phillips said something about the woke culture and why everybody can't be funny anymore? Marc Maron.
Maron.
Yeah, I don't know why I said it that way.
Oh my God.
You just JT'd it.
We cannot move forward.
Yeah.
Wait, but what happened? You didn't know Marc Maron's name was pronounced that way, or what?
I think it just not all in my head.
You got hit in the head with a hammer or something?
Yeah. I've been off all fucking week.
I like my favorite about that is like Riley clearly knows who Marc Maron is.
Yeah.
But if you go back and watch the tape, he goes, "Is that how you say it?" No, not even close to how you say it.
It's
Marc
just I'm
Maron,
like,
is that it?
Yeah.
It's been a long week and it's still going, and it just started Roxy. So Marc Maron.
Yeah.
He said, "Go try and be funny nowadays with this woke culture." Phillips said there were articles written about why comedians don't. That's what he said. So
Phillips said that, or Maron?
Todd Phillips.
Wow, this is getting so much more confusing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just queuing up the quote. Roxy, would you be quiet real quick?
I got you.
Jesus
I got
Christ.
you.
So this is what he said to the WTF podcast.
Yes.
There's plenty of people being funny right now. Not only being funny, but being really fucking funny. There are still lines to be rode. If you like to ride a line, you can still ride a line. If you want to take chances, you can still take chances. Really, the only thing that's off the table culturally at this juncture, and not even entirely, is shamelessly punching down for the sheer joy of hurting people, for the sheer excitement and laughter that some people get from causing people pain, from making people uncomfortable, from making people feel excluded. You know, that excitement.
That's a great thing to say.
It's a good quote.
There's more. I mean, I'm reading. This just broke, so this is.
Well, I'm on both sides of this thing. Because, because the thing is, what it has done for comedians in general. Where Marc Maron is 100% right is you can still take your shots, and you should still be able to take your shots. Chappelle certainly did that, but he's also Dave Chappelle. So, and Marc Maron is Marc Maron. There are these comedians who have their voice, and Bill Burr is Bill Burr. So they're going to be able to go out and do their Netflix, take their shots, take their criticisms, and be fine. A new comedian coming up in the world who is trying to make their voice is worried. And you should still be able to take your shots, but you don't have the voice that these other comedians do. Even someone who's established like a Sarah Silverman has come out and said she's nervous about certain things because the way that social media and everybody comes out against them. That doesn't mean that comedians should hold back and not try. They should. But the eyes and the daggers come out a lot faster than they used to. That's more of what I think is accurate, is that people now take the comedy and use it against you where that never used to be a thing. Where Marc Maron is 100% accurate is it shouldn't deter comedians for taking your shot.
Here's how he finishes it. It's great. Bottom line is no one is saying you can't say things or do things. Right. It's just that it's going to be received a certain way by certain people, and you're going to have to shoulder that.
That's 100%
And if you're isolated or marginalized or pushed into a corner because of your point of view or what you have to say, yet you still have a crew of people that enjoy it, there you go.
Yeah.
Those are your people. Enjoy your people.
I think they're 100% right, those comments, and I think that's – I understand the hesitancy from comedians. I understand people getting worried about what's going to happen, but I think Maron nails it where it's just like, take your shot. Take your shot. How are you feeling, Rox?
Oh, sorry.
I get nervous to talk about this on the show because, like, the thing that I still get the most heat for of all the fucking things I've said on this show is about what comedians should and should not say. That I'm a dictator and that I'm trying to eliminate freedom of speech and shit. So, like, first of all, fuck off. And then second of all, I feel like it is more challenging to be funny today, but it's so not impossible. Dan Merle put out a tweet of the funniest movies of the past, 3 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, these stack up with the comedies of the 10 years prior to that, 100%. I've never been a stand-up comedian, so I don't know about the pressures of what jokes you are not allowed to make, but I definitely have been a host before, and I have been live, and I put my foot in my mouth. So I like to practice forgiveness. I hope that people practice that with me as well. I think that these comments are fair. I also think Todd Phillips' comments are fair.
Right.
Fine, sure.
Yeah. So I mean, my biggest thing with comedians, right, is that it's the shutdown kind of culture more so.
The cancel culture.
Shutdown for me, meaning that. And you can cancel whatever too, but for me, it's shutdown culture where what I don't think should ever happen to a comedian, this is the conversation we've had a billion times, is that the comedy club is the comedians, it's their workout room. It is where they have to build. So as a comedian, if you have a spot that night, you're booked from that club, you can try to do anything you want.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want if you think you can make it funny. Now, it's your job to make it funny, but you're allowed to try. So some asshole face sitting in the crowd recording it on their phone or tweeting about, oh my God, I can't believe they just said this about that. And this time, fuck you. You can say, and even if it's not funny, they tried, like, so-and-so tried to do this and it didn't work. It's one thing. But Marc Maron is saying, if there's someone up there crushing someone, what they're doing and making fun of people. For example, this guy, and we never really talked about this on the air, the Saturday Night Live guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
So my people ask me my opinion on it. I don't know enough about the guy as an overall comedian. I don't know. I know what I saw. When I look at a Dave Chappelle series and I look at Marc Maron series, perfect example is Bert Kreischer, a friend of mine, right?
Sure.
Bert Kreischer did a joke about, he said, hey guys, do you know that Japanese people can't understand Chinese people? And he did this whole joke, right? Got a lot of laughs from the audience because he came off like kind of, but it was a joke. It was a bit. Some people probably got offended by certain things that he said, but it was a joke and it was a bit. You either thought it was funny or you didn't. The comments that I saw from this Saturday Night Live guy, there was no joke. It was just a guy calling a race of people a derogatory name, a racist name, and he was called out for it. Now, I think if he would have apologized better,
Authentically.
there was no apologies. Like, I'm sorry if I've ever offended you with anything I've said. That's basically said it's your problem, not mine.
Right.
If he would have said, when I'm looking at those comments of what I've said, it was wrong. I came out. I was trying to be funny with my friends. It wasn't funny. I was saying this to my friends. I apologize. And then they fired him. Then I would have had a big problem with it. Right. But he didn't seem remorseful. He just seemed like a guy who made a racist comment. Those are two different things from what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I think here's the thing, and I know I get shit for it, but I say this: you got a right to say whatever you want to say. It's a First Amendment right in this country. Absolutely. You don't have freedom from consequences.
Right.
You have freedom of speech. You don't have freedom from consequences. And this is the nuanced approach that people seem to forget because they want to go tribal on this. And I think Todd Phillips' comments were a bit irresponsible in that they weren't more elaborate. And what we said with Scorsese, to me, 2 extra words would have solved that situation. I think the same thing with Todd. Todd saying woke culture, all this, like by inferring those terms, he is purposely putting himself on one side of the situation and having it be a bit more tribal. When in fact you can say, there's a lot of it. Comedy isn't like it used to be. It's a lot harder in this certain way. It's just not for me. And I see some of my friends suffering with that. Personally, I don't like it. But that being said, there's been a lot of great comedy.
Better.
Just a little more rounded.
Same point, different expression.
Exactly. You could have that point of view.
Do we have time?
There's a little more rounded.
Right, we don't know that.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're in an interview, I feel like if you're the subject, you have all the time you want to answer a question. Especially for Todd Phillips.
Let me tell you right now, personal experience, okay? My famous quote of, I've been busting my ass for 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
I was talking about the show and Collider Jedi Council saying that, for the last 5 years, I've been trying to get this. But I'm saying I'm trying to, for the last 5 years, build this show, but it didn't come out that way. The way it came out was I've been busting my ass to Star Wars for 5 years, and rightfully so. Yeah. They fucking hammered me for it.
That's what I'm saying. And to be fair, it's your show. You could have talked longer and been more elaborate.
No. I couldn't have because we were in the middle of this thing.
But also that you're right. That was his show. This was not. There's so many times where I feel like I don't know what the circumstances were. Was he on a carpet? Was he?
No, it's just an interview for Variety, I think.
Yeah, Todd Phillips?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an interview.
Okay.
And you got to also consider, he sounded very frustrated.
Yeah.
He sounded so frustrated, and I'm not condoning what he said, but it's just...
He's dealing with the incel stuff right now.
I don't think we have to condone. It's like, I think that he has the right to come from that point of view.
Absolutely does.
But
everybody loses their mind
I think you can condone what he says if you want. You can condone the fact that it is a very different time to be a comedian this day. It is very, people do pick apart every single thing you say, whether it's on this show or on Twitter or whatever it is. People get hammered. I agree with John that maybe he could have expressed it a little bit differently, but I don't not condone it because I think that he's come. Sarah Silverman said the same thing, and I agree with what she says. It goes back to what I was just saying before, as far as inside of the club, the comedians should be able to work on whatever they want.
I thoroughly agree with that because that is your workspace and you're working stuff out, and it's always been. What can you say? It's always been an unspoken agreement between the audience and the comedian is that you're going to try your best. I want to laugh.
Right.
If I don't like it, I'm not going to laugh. And if I do like it, I'm going to laugh. But I don't need to go on Twitter and call your ass out. That is entitlement.
But that's what everybody's doing.
I think
with
is
Todd
frustrating.
Phillips, but that's what they're doing with Todd Phillips.
Well, they're using his words.
I think there's just so much of The Hangover that still like 100% would work today.
No pun
intended.
He directed the Hangover movies. That's what I mean.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Because it doesn't make sense to me that he would think that. There's like a couple of words here and there, like we aren't dropping the F word anymore. At one point, that was acceptable and funny in comedy, and now we know better. That's what happens in life. You start to know better. So like the not fuck the other one.
Yeah, Eddie apologized for that too.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, it's interesting to hear him say that comedy wouldn't work today when I feel like his biggest hit would work today with just like some very subtle, and you can page Dr. Dickwad. You can you can change. There still is so much comedy there. I think he still could do an excellent job with very similar subject matters today. Well, it's not like those movies are null and void now,
right?
And we could never bring them back.
This is going to continue to keep happening though too, because I do see, and I'll be completely honest with you guys. I am happy about the pushback that has been happening over the last like 3 or 4 months with because it did seem like it was very one-sided. Somebody did something, they fucking went after him, they killed him without any other facts. Boom, 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 boom. Now there's more people kind of fighting back against that a little bit. You're going to have both sides going after it, but I'm actually glad that comedians are leading the charge on this. I really am.
Well,
so
there's a more nuanced reaction to it now that was trying to get out at the beginning, because there were a lot of there were a few female columnists who came out in defense of Aziz Ansari when they heard that, but that was getting drowned out by the noise of the other people,
all the shit that was going down to it.
And so
I don't feel like that. I felt like that was louder than what was happening.
What was louder?
The people in defense of him.
That's what I'm saying. That was the first time when it started to kind of turn. You started to see the pushback start to happen because because it was going too far.
Right.
And that's the thing. I agree with you 1,000%. I think there's certain cases like Louis C.K. absolutely, but there are other cases where people want to just jump too quickly without reading and understanding, and put things in context.
I'll say, I take Louis out of it for a second because I have my own thoughts on that. But like, there was something nice about the fact. Oof, let's hope that she can phrase this correctly. There was something nice about the fact that all of us were on the same page about Harvey Weinstein when everything came out. Like, I will say there was something nice about everybody in the industry being like, because things are so polarized now. I get what you're saying, Christian. I'm glad there's pushback against this cancel culture, but also there was something nice about all of us being joined for anything.
But you know the main thing with that, though, Roxy? Facts.
Yeah.
There were facts.
Totally. I'm just saying, like, I do miss, like, I kind of wish there were more clear-cut situations where it was like, oh, no, for sure, like, we're anti-you.
Everybody grabbed each other's hands because it had been going on. He was a monster for so many years with facts that were coming out, like legit proof and evidence. And, like, everybody, like myself included, have been guilty in the fact. They're just like, oh, wait a minute. You hear one thing? Guilty. And like, no, you can't do that.
The biggest one with this that I still am so confused about what the facts are is the Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation.
Right. What's going on? I don't even know where that stands right now.
It's been turning as more evidence starts coming out.
I remember when everything happened, everybody was like, cancel Johnny Depp. I think I was one of them. I honestly don't remember at this point, but why is he still in Fantastic Beasts? And then now it's cancel Amber Heard. Why is she still slated for Aquaman 2? The footage that has come out about both of them, I'm just like, the whole thing is ugh.
Right.
Like,
What a shock.
don't even know.
What a shock. A combustible relationship had two people.
Parts.
I'm sorry?
2 parts.
Yeah, two parts.
Yeah.
That's what happens. I think a lot of us have been in relationships with people we weren't supposed to be with.
Yeah.
And at times in our lives when we couldn't handle it and it led to some bad fights
Yeah,
or
but
some
she tried
terrible
to chop
stuff.
off his finger, man.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. And both they just took it to extreme because who knows why? Their celebrity nature or whatever.
Yeah, she tried to cut off his finger.
Right.
But
But she has
this
that
is
video
what
of him
keeps coming
throwing
out.
the
It's like,
wine.
the wine. So it's all like
it
was just a bad relationship.
all of it.
And I don't think you have to
Like-
take sides. You weren't there.
Yeah, but I
So
don't know.
that was
I don't know if I want to watch either of them anymore. I just
Right.
don't know
That's
if
fair.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird, but look, the other thing that this is why someone asked me last night. I said I don't really want to talk about this shit anymore. Like I
saw that on Twitter.
Like I don't want to talk about politics anymore. I don't want to talk about any of that shit because I just feel like again, unless there's a difference between like you just brought up, like Weinstein said, there's clear-cut facts of things that are going on. I don't want to be in that position of this is what I think. So be part of the culture and say, you know what, that we're not the fucking courtroom.
Right.
We're not the courtroom, and Twitter has become a courtroom. And you don't think so?
I think the public is the courtroom.
Bullshit.
Yeah, we decided. But I don't mean about convicting you, right?
Yeah, but that's what's happened, though.
I mean about whether we're going to patronize your contributions to society.
Well, yeah, that's
we're the courtroom
that's
in
two
that
different,
way.
That's
what I mean.
That's a different type
but
of
convicting
conversation.
for
I'm
crime
speaking
or
about
something,
things that
that's
are coming
something
up.
else.
Speaking of two different things, though, Christian, like I feel like politics and this are not totally the same thing. But like the famous and then they came for us. That poem. Like I didn't stand up for this group of people, this marginalized group, this, and then they came for me, and there was nobody left to speak out. Did a horrible job. The words are beautiful, but you know what I'm talking about. It's like this happens all the time where people tell people to stay in their lane and fight their own fights. But I would like to consider myself an ally of the LGBTQ plus community, although I'm not a member, and I want to have a voice because I'm able to have a voice, and I feel blessed to be able to do that.
And you should.
But for for politics, I feel like that's different than this. Are you saying you want to make no political statements going forward in the future?
That's too brash to say.
It's like less of a
but that's too brash to say because there's something that I'm of course that's just who I am as a person. I'm going to say things. I just don't want to make it a directive of what I want to do for my future in general.
Your purpose is to entertain more than
that's what I want to do. Now, like you said, you 100% should do that. That's what you should be doing. And this is what I said last week. Twitter, on the other hand. If I follow John Roque, I know John Roque is an outspoken dude, and on Twitter, that's where you're gonna see that stuff, and you're choosing to follow him. We were talking about the other day, Michael Keaton on Instagram. All he does is tweet about politics, or Instagram about politics. He has the right to do that. Now, if there's a show, if it's a Michael Keaton show, and he says that his show is going to be about Batman memorabilia, and you turn into that show, and it's about why he loves Biden and hates Trump, you're going to start to get annoyed.
Right.
And if it's once in a while, fine, but it becomes that show, well, this is not what I signed on for. So as I pose myself as an entertainer, that's just not my particular brand. Does that make sense?
What do you think about so Collider Live, right?
Yeah.
Multiple voices on this show. Do you think that it's right? Say that Riley wanted to take a big stance on stem cell research.
He should.
Just trying to think of something that's a little less hot button than the other ones, but still. Say he really wanted to take a stance on stem cell research. But this is not called Marc Riley Live. Do you think that he has, if he wants to do that on his Twitter, great. But do you think he has the right to come into Collider Live and do that?
He has the right to do it because that's, first of all, like we just talked about before with the whole Todd, Martin Scorsese conversation, for me. If you guys are having a conversation about and if he started talking about it right now, I wouldn't shut him down for it. That's up to him.
Yeah, but how is it going to do with the flow? If we talk about it, if it opens up the conversation like this, organically, like this, exactly. But I'm not going to come in and say, you know what, guys, I'm leading with stem cell research
Agenda.
Today. That's there's something about the organic nature of a conversation that we can have that I like. This is happening right now.
This is an example because we weren't planning on having a full. It wasn't on the docket today. Said let's really dive into this. That was the topic that came up, and we went into it. I think that maybe I'm exhausted by it. Yeah,
totally
to be honest.
get it.
You know what I mean?
think we all are.
Yeah, I think I'm just exhausted by it. I don't pay attention. Honestly, I had a conversation with somebody the other day. How about all this Joker controversy? And I said, what controversy? Because I don't pay attention to it. I don't. I mean,
I did that with you the other day.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the violence. That's out there. The other stuff that other people getting offended and saying that it's either whether it's racist or sexist. I'm out. Let them figure it out. You guys figure it out. I'm going to tell you if I like the movie or not. And if you think that my opinion is racist or this because I liked Rambo, then that's on you.
That's the one I had. No, you remember when I came in and you were like, I don't feel like talking about the Rambo stuff, and I was like, what is the Rambo stuff? I didn't even know what you were talking about.
And if you want to feel, if you think Rambo's racist, you're allowed to. I like the movie. I enjoyed the movie. You think I'm a racist because I like Rambo? Then that's what you think. I liked it. I thought it was pretty damn good. I thought the girl who played his adopted daughter was incredible.
So
I think the woman who wrote the damn movie with them was awesome too. And I thought they had a lot of fun with it. But that's my opinion.
Yeah. And you get to be on Sly's Instagram.
Hell yeah, motherfucker.
I'm mad at you for that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I've trumpeted this movie from the beginning.